Scattergrams. Scattergrams are usually single quadrants, and they depict the random location of coordinate points. There it is, rough idea and sketch of a scattergram. Just random location of points. They don't necessarily have to be linearly related, but we sometimes, for this class, will assume that they're linearly related. Okay? Bar graphs. Bar graphs is the diagram with two axes that we can use to compare measurements of two or more items. For instance, let's think about population. And let's talk about population of a few cities, just as a reference. Do notice, no exact values will be provided, since it could change and varies depending on the year. So Salem, as an example, New York, and Los Angeles. Okay, Salem could be your city. So you could label your city instead of Salem, say your city. Agreed? So Salem, I would say relatively low population by comparison to New York and Los Angeles. New York, tremendously huge population. Los Angeles, let's say slightly less. Could change, right? To be aware of that. Just for reference though. So once again, I'm not putting quantities. In this case, it's just a visual reference for our particular case. We won't work much with it, but it will definitely help for a reference. And highly recommend that you keep in mind that you could have done this horizontally. So this is vertical graphing. You could have done bar graphs in a horizontal format. Okay. Well, in this case, it'll probably help if we highlight them. There we go. It'll make it easier to visualize or see them at least. And now we can roughly compare. Let's see, Salem's population is very low by comparison to New York and Los Angeles, right? Does that give you a fair idea of what a bar graph is? Okay, coordinate system plotting. Let's do just basic plotting for this case to help you start out learning how to plot. So let's start like an introductory. What if we try to graph 2, 5 as a coordinate? Keep in mind, your 2 is always the x value, the first one, and the 5 in this case, the second one, is always the y value. So graphing. There we go. We have a rough sketch. You're welcome to do a hand sketch, totally fine. Okay. I recommend you use a ruler to make some of the lines, but entirely up to you. It could be just a quick hand sketch. I usually state that I have a crooked hand, and it's crooked because I draw crooked lines, not because of anything else. Be aware of that. Just when I try to draw my hand, the lines come out, well, somewhat crooked. Or in other words, not straight. So let's try plotting 2, 5. Notice it's at the first quadrant, where everything's positive. So therefore, the x value is typically first, so we state it first. Where's our x value of 2? Right there. There is our x value of 2. Agreed? X value of 2, where is our y value? Y value of 5, right? There it is. So notice I'm drawing a line. This should be light lines if you're drawing this by pencil. By pen, a boy drawing on dot, a line then, right? Unless it's your initial try at graphing. Then it'll be totally fine. So do notice, once again, I'm just drawing them temporarily. I'll get rid of them. Once I draw my dot, I'll get rid of them. And if you're an advanced grapher, you probably don't even need a line, agreed? You just visualize the line on there. So there's our dot. Once again, lines erased or no lines at all. Second coordinate that we want to plot, -3, 4. Well, that implies that we're in the negative x value and positive y value. So it'll be our second quadrant. There we go. Second quadrant, -3, 4. -3 is the y, and 4 is, -3 is the x, and 4 is the y. So 3 is our x value, and it's -3. There it is, roughly, for visualization. And 4 is the y value. Notice where they intersect. That is where our dot will be drawn. So there's our dot. And now, once again, let me get rid of our reference lines. There is our final graph. Okay, let's try one more. 5, -1. Well, in this case, it implies that 5 is the x value, and it's a positive x value, and -1 is the y value. So that means we're at quadrant number 4. Okay, so let's go. Quadrant number 4 at x is 5. There it is, x is 5. And y value is -1. There it is. Well, it's pretty close to our numbers there, right? You might be able to see them almost like it's crossing out the numbers, but it's just a line that we're using for reference. And now to draw our dot, there is our dot, and erase the lines. There is our dot once again, the graph location. It's pretty much on top of our 5 there for this case. Okay, and last dot, -4 comma -6. They're both negatives, both the x and the y value. That means that this is in our third quadrant. So third quadrant, just for reference, I'm going to do this one a little quicker. Notice that I'm coming off of the -4 for the x is the first value, always start with the x, and the y value is at -6, second coordinate, right? Or second value or coordinate, I should say. Okay, and now to draw our dot. There is our dot. And once again, to erase our reference lines. So erasing reference lines. And here is our final graph of our 4 dots. Okay, hope it helps you for graphing. Once again, this is just the basic graphing of coordinates.